You walk into the local supermarket. You bypass the bakery. You ignore the biscuit aisle entirely. You head straight for the whole food section. You pick up a large premium bag of raw walnuts. You look at the price tag. It is certainly not cheap. You pay that premium price willingly. You bring them home and you eat a large handful every single afternoon. You do this because you want to do the exact right thing for your body. You have been told for decades by every health magazine, every television expert, and every newspaper article that walnuts are brilliant for your heart. You were told they protect your aging brain. You were told they clear out your arteries. So you eat them as a daily healthy snack. You chew them up, you swallow them, and you wait to feel healthy. But half an hour later, something feels entirely wrong. You are sitting in your armchair. Your stomach feels incredibly tight. Your trousers suddenly feel restrictive around your waist. You feel a heavy, dull ache sitting right below your ribs. You experience uncomfortable trapped wind. You feel heavy and sluggish. You feel a sudden wave of extreme fatigue wash over your entire body. You sit there feeling significantly worse than you did before you ate them. It is not because your body is suddenly rejecting the nut. It is certainly not because you have developed a random food allergy late in life. It is because you are trying to eat a locked safe. Eating raw walnuts straight from the packet is entirely useless and actively harms your gut without the golden protocol. You are spending good money on premium food, but you're essentially throwing that money straight into the kitchen bin. Your body simply cannot open the nut. Your digestive system is hitting a solid brick wall. The nutrients are trapped tight. I will give you the exact step-by-step golden protocol to fix this at the very end of this video. You will never waste a single walnut again. But first, you must deeply understand why your aging body struggles to process them. Here is the harsh biological reality of the situation. A raw walnut does not want to be eaten. It has absolutely zero interest in being your healthy afternoon snack. Biologically speaking, its only goal is to survive and grow into a massive tree. Think about its long journey in nature. The nut forms on the branch in the warm summer. It wants to fall from the high branches of the tree in late autumn. It wants to land on the damp, cold soil of the forest floor. It needs to survive the freezing, relentless rain of November. It needs to survive the deep, bitter frost of January. It must resist hungry insects. It must fight off aggressive mould. It must survive damp rot for many long months until the warm spring sun finally arrives. How does a simple, small nut survive all of that extreme environmental damage? Nature is incredibly clever. Nature coats the nut in a highly effective, invisible chemical suit of armor. We crack the hard wooden outer shell with a nutcracker. We throw those broken shells away. We look at the nut and we think the job is done. But we completely ignore the thin brown skin clinging tightly to the white meat of the nut. That brown skin is the real armor. This chemical armor is incredibly tough. It is designed to be completely impenetrable. When you eat a raw walnut straight from the supermarket packet, that armor does not just disappear when it hits your tongue. It does not sit there passively. It actively fights back inside your digestive tract. Your stomach acid is strong, but it is not strong enough to instantly melt winter-proof armor. This chemical armor acts like a powerful, greedy magnet inside your gut. It sweeps through your digestive system and grabs onto the vital minerals you desperately need. It steals the iron you got from your dinner. It steals the zinc you need for your immune system. It locks onto the calcium you drank in your morning milk. It binds to the magnesium you need to relax your tired muscles. It grabs all these precious minerals before your body has any chance to absorb them into the bloodstream. Health professionals call this an anti-nutrient. It is quite literally a nutrient thief hiding in plain sight. Think about what that daily theft means for your daily life and your daily energy levels. You might eat a lovely piece of grilled, grass-fed steak or a large bowl of fresh, dark spinach. You eat these things to build your blood. You eat them to stop feeling tired. But if you eat raw walnuts on the same day, the nut steals that goodness. You lose the iron that gives you your daily stamina. You walk up the stairs and you have to stop halfway.
You grip the banister, you try to catch your breath, your chest feels tight. That sudden, frightening breathlessness when you are just moving around your own house, that is exactly the reason. You might take a premium magnesium supplement every evening. You take it because you want to sleep deeply. You take it because you want your muscles to relax, but the raw walnut steals the magnesium before it can work. You wake up in the pitch dark. Your calf muscle is locked in a tight, screaming knot. You have to force yourself out of a warm bed. You stand barefoot on the freezing floor just to stretch the muscle out. That agonizing pain in the middle of the night, that is exactly the reason. You might eat fresh oysters or pumpkin seeds to get your daily zinc. You want a strong immune system. You want to fight off the winter bugs. But the raw walnut steals the zinc. Winter arrives.
You catch every single cold your grandchildren bring home. You suffer with a blocked nose and a sore throat for weeks. Your immune system is completely blind. That constant struggle to stay well during the colder months, that is exactly the reason. You might drink premium milk or eat high-quality cheese to protect your aging bones. You want to stay strong and independent, but the raw walnut steals the calcium. You notice your fingernails are becoming incredibly brittle. You try to open a cardboard box and your nail snaps painfully. Your teeth begin to feel highly sensitive to cold water. Your bones slowly lose their dense strength over the years. That fragile, delicate feeling in your hands, that is exactly the reason. I want you to think about your own daily energy levels. Do you experience that sudden heavy drop in energy around 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Tell me about your experience in the comments below. You blame your age for all of these problems. You blame the cold weather. You blame a bad night of sleep. You blame stress. In reality, you should blame the raw walnut. You are eating entirely for your health, but the hidden defense mechanism of the nut is working completely against you. It is robbing you blind from the inside out. Every single day you eat them raw, you are losing ground. Now, you might have heard of soaking nuts before. It is an old traditional trick. It is a brilliant technique passed down in traditional cultures for hundreds of years. Our great-grandparents understood this instinctively. They knew how to prepare food properly. But in our modern, fast-paced, convenience-obsessed world, we have lost the vital details. We have forgotten how to actually do it properly. We want absolutely everything done in 5 minutes flat. We see a quick video online and we think we know the secret. Here is where 90% of well-meaning people get it completely wrong. They take a large handful of walnuts, they throw them into a cheap plastic bowl, they run the cold kitchen tap over them. They leave them sitting on the kitchen counter for 20 minutes while they chop vegetables for dinner. They drain the water, they eat the nuts, they pat themselves on the back and think the job is perfectly done. That brief splash does absolutely nothing. You have achieved precisely nothing. You are simply wetting the outside of the shell. You're giving the nut a very quick, useless bath. Even if you chew the nut 50 times, the chemical armor survives completely intact. To actually break down that tough chemical armor, you need very specific triggers. You need a pinch of something you already have sitting in your kitchen cupboard. You need a very specific, unbroken window of time. If you pull them out of the water too early, the armor stays completely locked. If you use the wrong water temperature, the unlocking process never even begins. If you use standard tap water full of heavy chlorine, you kill the natural process dead before it starts. Chlorine is essentially bleach. It sterilizes the water. We need a natural, living environment to wake the nut up. You need to deeply understand why your aging body struggles to process these locked nuts. Think of your digestion exactly like a wood-burning stove sitting in your living room. When we are 20 years old, that fire roars. It is a massive, aggressive, intensely hot blaze. You can throw almost anything onto it. You can throw heavy oak logs. You can throw damp branches. You can throw highly processed junk food, heavy pastries, or raw, dry nuts. That young, fierce fire just burns it all to absolute ash in minutes. It handles absolutely everything without a single problem. You never even think about your digestion when you were 20. You eat late at night and you sleep perfectly. But as we mature, things change fundamentally. When we pass the age of 55, the nature of that internal fire shifts. It is still a brilliant, highly efficient fire. It still keeps the house perfectly warm. It still gives you abundant life. But it is no longer a roaring, aggressive blaze.
It is a gentle bed of glowing red coals. It requires immense respect. It requires the right kind of careful fuel. When you throw raw, dry walnuts with their chemical armor intact onto those glowing coals, it is exactly like throwing a wet, moss-covered log onto a gentle fire. What happens to the stove? The fire chokes immediately. It creates thick gray smoke. It sputters. It fights desperately to stay alive. The room gets cold. Your internal organs react the exact same way. This puts massive, entirely unnecessary stress on your body. Your pancreas has to panic. Your pancreas is forced to work overtime. It has to pump out extra digestive juices just to try and dismantle that tough chemical armor. Your stomach churns and fights. The undigested nut moves slowly into your intestines. It sits there and it ferments. It produces terrible gas. That is exactly why you feel so incredibly tired and bloated after eating them. You eat food because you want vibrant energy. You want energy to go for a long walk. You want energy to work in the garden. You want energy to play with your grandchildren. But your body is spending a massive amount of its own vital energy just to break the food down. Instead of feeling revitalized and sharp, you feel sluggish, heavy, and dull. You want to take a long nap on the sofa. This is a clear, undeniable sign from your body.
The food was not prepared in a way that matches your current digestive strength. Why go through the trouble of fixing this? Because once you wash away that chemical armor, the walnut changes completely. It stops being a heavy burden on your gut and becomes premium fuel for your engine. You see, walnuts are packed with omega-3 oils. Think of this as high-grade lubricant for your entire body. It keeps the delicate lining of your veins soft and flexible rather than stiff and brittle. It helps cool down the hidden heat in your joints. It acts like a powerful spark plug for your memory. But here's the absolute catch. Your body cannot get to this premium oil if it is fighting through the dry, bitter shell. By soaking them properly, you are opening the heavy door so your body can walk right in and take exactly what it needs without a fight. Let us look much closer at that hidden heat in your joints. You know that exact feeling when you get out of bed in the morning and your knees feel incredibly stiff? Your knuckles feel tight and painful when you try to make a fist to hold your toothbrush? Your lower back aches terribly for the first 20 minutes of the day. You have to walk down the stairs sideways because your knees refuse to bend properly. That is rust in the internal engine. That is the hidden heat. The premium oils in the unlocked walnut act like a soothing, cooling balm for that exact rust. They cool the painful joints down. They make daily movement easier and much more fluid. Modern diets are completely full of cheap, nasty vegetable oils. These cheap oils create the rust. The walnut provides the exact opposite. It provides the natural cure. That relief you feel when your joints finally loosen up after a hot shower, that is exactly what the walnut oil does from the inside out. And for your brain, they do something truly spectacular. They clear the mental fog. The human brain is largely made of fat. It demands better fuel to function correctly. The modern diet starves the brain of good fat. When you walk into a room and completely forget why you went in there, when you stand in the middle of the supermarket looking at the shelves completely blank, when you struggle desperately to remember the name of an old friend, the walnut provides the exact spark plug your brain needs. It keeps the mental signals firing quickly and sharply. It brings the clarity back. But you only get these incredible benefits if you open the door first. You must do the hard work in the glass bowl. You must save your stomach from doing the heavy lifting. When you eat an unlocked walnut, your body has immediate, free access to the fats and minerals without any of the exhausting struggle. Think about your own memory over the last few weeks. Do you find yourself walking into the kitchen and standing there completely blank, wondering what you came in for? Leave a comment below and let me know if this happens to you. There is also a massive, wonderful bonus for your mouth. Nobody ever talks about this in the health magazines, but it changes absolutely everything about how you eat and enjoy food. Have you ever noticed that raw walnuts often have a chalky, dry taste? They leave a strange, astringent feeling on your tongue. They have a bitter scrape at the very back of your throat. That bitterness comes directly from the invisible dust on the skin. It comes from those defensive chemical tannins.
It is the exact same bitter, mouth-drying feeling you get from a cheap, overbrewed cup of black tea. It is the same feeling you get from a very dry, cheap glass of red wine. It creates a harsh, drying sensation in your mouth that makes you want to drink a large glass of water immediately to wash the taste away. When you follow the golden protocol properly, that entire eating experience changes. The water in your soaking bowl turns dark, brown, and murky. That is not dirt from the farm. That is not dust from the factory floor. That is the actual bitterness physically leaving the nut. That is the bad taste dissolving straight into the water. What is left behind is an absolute culinary revelation. The nut becomes incredibly buttery. It becomes naturally sweet. The texture changes completely. It stops being hard, waxy, and difficult to chew. It becomes crisp, light, and wonderfully airy. It tastes exactly like a fresh, young walnut picked straight off the tree branch on a crisp autumn morning. People often buy roasted salted peanuts because they taste wonderful, even though they are terrible for your blood pressure and your heart. An activated walnut gives you the very best of both worlds. It gives you extreme health benefits and an absolutely amazing taste. Even if you do not care about your digestion at all, even if you do not care about your joints, your heart, or your memory, you should do this for the taste alone. It is night and day. Once you try a walnut that has been properly treated, you will find it completely impossible to go back to the raw, bitter version. You will start craving them every single day. You will crush them over your warm morning porridge. You will scatter them over your fresh green salads for lunch. You will bake them into healthy banana bread. They stop being a boring health chore. They become a genuine, delicious treat that you actually look forward to eating. Before I give you the exact steps of the Golden Protocol, I must give you a very serious warning. I must warn you about the biggest mistake people make when they try this process for the very first time.
This mistake can actually make the nuts dangerous to eat. Moisture is the absolute enemy of long-term food storage. Once you soak a walnut in water, it wakes up. It is technically alive again. It has started the natural growing process. You cannot just put a wet nut back in a glass jar, put it in the dark kitchen cupboard, and forget about it for a week. If you do that, it will grow thick, toxic mould within 48 hours. You have created the absolute perfect, damp, dark environment for bad bacteria to thrive. It will smell horribly rancid. It will make you quite ill if you eat it. It is terrible for your liver. You have two very clear choices once you have soaked them. Choice one is to eat them wet. If you enjoy the softer, fresh, plump texture, you can keep them in a sealed glass container in your fridge. The cold air in the fridge slows down the biology, but you must eat them within 3 days, no longer. A wet nut belongs in the fridge and it must be eaten very quickly. Choice two is what I highly recommend for absolutely everyone. You must dry them out again. You must use a very low temperature to get that brilliant crunch back. This removes all the dangerous moisture. This stops the growing process. This allows you to store them safely in your cupboard for months. Do not ever skip this drying step if you want to keep them in the pantry. If you skip it, you will ruin the entire batch. You will waste your hard-earned money. You will potentially make yourself sick. Here is the exact step-by-step golden protocol to unlock the nutrition. We call this waking up the nut. Follow these steps exactly as they're written. Step one is the bowl. Put your shelled walnuts in a large glass bowl. You must strictly avoid plastic. Plastic acts like a sponge for bad bacteria, and we want this process to be perfectly clean. Plastic gets tiny, invisible scratches from your metal spoons and forks over the years. Bacteria absolutely love to hide deep in those tiny scratches. Do not use metal bowls either. The metal can react poorly with the salt. Glass or ceramic is perfectly smooth and perfectly safe. Make sure the bowl is quite large. The walnuts will drink the water. They will swell up slightly. They need plenty of room to expand without being crushed together. Step two is the salt water. Cover the nuts with warm, filtered water. It must not be boiling. It should just be pleasant to the touch. Boiling water will instantly cook the nut. Boiling water will destroy those beautiful, healthy oils you are trying to extract. Now add the secret key. Add a large tablespoon of good sea salt. The salt is not there for flavour. It acts like a powerful magnet. It pulls the chemical locks out of the nut and into the water.
The water should feel like a comfortable warm bath on your wrist. Pour in enough water so it sits a good 2 inches above the top of the nuts. Do not use cheap processed table salt. Table salt is heavily refined. It is full of chemical anti-caking agents. It is stripped of its natural pulling power. You need proper coarse sea salt. You can use Himalayan pink salt. You can use Celtic sea salt. Stir the nuts gently with a wooden spoon until the salt completely dissolves into the warm water. Step 3 is the clock. This is the most important part of the entire protocol. Cover the bowl with a clean cloth and leave it on the kitchen counter for 8 to 12 hours. Overnight is absolutely perfect. You sleep peacefully and the salt does all the hard work for you. Do not leave them soaking for longer than 24 hours or they will become far too soggy and start to spoil. A clean tea towel keeps the dust out, it keeps the summer flies out, but it lets the bowl breathe naturally. Do not rush this step. If your kitchen is freezing cold in the middle of winter, it might take the full 12 hours for the locks to open. If you drain them after just 3 hours because you're impatient, the chemical armour is still firmly attached. 10 to 12 hours is the absolute sweet spot. Set them up right after your evening dinner. They will be perfectly ready for you when you wake up to make your morning tea. Step 4 is the rinse. In the morning, pull back the cloth and look at the water. It will be dark, brown and murky. That is the bitterness physically leaving the nut. Pour the entire bowl into a colander in the sink. Rinse them thoroughly under cold running water. Wash away every single drop of that dirty water. Never ever use that brown water for cooking. Move the nuts around vigorously with your hands under the cold tap. Use a good metal sieve if you need to. Make sure every single trace of that brown water is washed straight down the drain. That water holds all the anti-nutrients. That water holds the thieves. Get rid of it completely. Step 5 is the drying process. Now you have perfectly awake, unlocked walnuts. To get them delightfully crunchy again, you must dry them. Spread them out evenly on a large flat baking tray. Make sure they're in a single layer. Do not pile them on top of each other. Put them into your oven on the absolute lowest possible temperature setting. We're talking about 50 or 60 degrees Celsius. You are not roasting them. You are gently dehydrating them. Leave the oven door cracked open just a tidy bit. You can stick the handle of a wooden spoon in the door to keep it open. This allows the wet moisture to escape the oven. Leave them there for 12 to 24 hours. Check them occasionally.
If you own a proper food dehydrator, that is even better. Set it to low and let it run. You will know they are perfectly done by doing the snap test. Take one nut out of the oven, let it cool on the counter for 10 minutes. Bite into it. It should snap loudly. It should be perfectly crisp right through to the very center. If it feels remotely soft or chewy in the middle, put the tray back in the oven. They must be bone dry. Once they are fully dry and cooled, put them in a sealed glass jar. Keep them in a dark cupboard. They will last for many months. They will be ready to give you massive energy, cool your joints, and clear your brain every single day. Please remember that this information is educational. Do not change your doctor's treatment based on a video. Always consult your medical professional before making major changes to your routine. Take the time to do this properly. Make it a simple weekly routine. Your digestion will thank you. Your joints will thank you. Your brain will thank you. You will finally get the premium health benefits you are actually paying for.